And a big guy with a mustache came over to me and said, the prince would like to take you to dinner tonight, you and your friend. The prince was Prince Khalid of Saudi Arabia.
And you had no clue.
Saud was presently the king of Saudi Arabia.
Right.
When he died, first one and then another, Khalid eventually became the prince when one got shot. The one before him got shot. So Khalid was a world power and the prince of Saudi Arabia at one time. Anyway, I went up and I said, hey, Days, there's a prince down in the lobby and turbaned guys with him, and they want to take us to dinner. What do you think? And she said, Betty, there's safety in numbers. Let's go. That was Days. So we met them in the lobby. They had a red American convertible. And we sat in the back seat, and another guy, the guy with the mustache, in the front seat. And they liked the idea of being with two cute American girls. We each had on shirtwaist dresses. That was the year that Drip Dry came about. I bought an aqua one, Daisy Mae brought a tan one, and we washed those dresses in bathtubs. You had to go down to the desk to get the thing to make the faucet work. We washed them together. We had the soap that we brought. We bought Tide, though, in Paris.
Right.
Okay, so you never heard the story? Am I boring you?
No, tell me more about describe your first arrival there.
Well, over in the corner in the lobby. You walked
what
in.
What city was it again? You were right in
Geneva.
Geneva. Okay.
And there I am, buying Pall Malls. Ran out. Okay, so we met them in the lobby, and they liked the idea. We were both pretty cute. You've seen that picture of us getting on the United States?
Yep.
With the whole family came to see us off, only she didn't have
Who
any.
took the picture?
Well, they did as you were getting on the boat.
Oh, okay.
Then you bought it.
Okay.
There we are, shirtwaist dresses, pearls, raincoats over our arm, and the luggage went ahead of us. Well, anyway, we met him in the lobby. We both sat in the back seat, and we went to a hotel. I don't know if I can remember, but there's a box in the closet with all these postcards. We didn't have a camera with us. Imagine how pioneer that would be to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to this, I don't know, Metropole? Have I mentioned that before?
Yeah, you were just saying.
That must have been the name of it. And these guys, this prince and his friend, his diamond merchant was with him, but only 4 of us went to that Metropole. And we had dinner, and during dinner, the dance floor came up high, like that. And we were sitting right up in front, and I don't remember, but I'm sure it was a fabulous meal. And the whole idea was they liked being seen with a couple of cute American girls. We were American. They were Saudi Arabia, you know. And it was no funny business. As Daisy Mae said, Betty, there's safety in numbers. Let's go. Anyway, the next day, in the red convertible with the top down, they took us on a tour of Geneva. And we went to the Peace Palace. It was up in a mountain because Geneva's famous for skiing. The scenery was so beautiful. And that was it. No monkey business, as guys might have in mind. And there were 2 of us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the memories that I have of my life, that's why don't cry when I die. Don't. Just think of the life. Just think about it. I've had a beautiful life.
I don't know what that was. It fell down.
Didn't one of them want to marry you? I thought there was a prince that you met, or a king that you met.
No,
That was not. They had all these wives.
that was us joking.
Oh, they
Oh.
had
We
all
coulda
these
had a
wives.
prince.
They
We
had,
could have had a
Oh,
prince
that's
for a
right.
father. Look at what we got.
oh, that's funny. No, they would not. They asked if we had camera, and we said no. Pictures not allowed. Oh no, to be on the New York Daily News or something.
Boy, times
Oh
sure
no,
have changed,
no
man.
cameras. Not allowed. They did ask us that question. We said, no, we don't have one. So whatever. And then my mother had never flown. I don't know the year. I think it was 57. Aunt Margaret lived in Long Beach, California. And I said, we're going to go see Aunt Margaret. And she said, oh, I'd love it. I'd love it. American Airlines, 57. I think it was in the fall. The weather was beautiful. She was so proud. And coming in to New York, like, it was dark, and there were flames, like, by the wing. And that frightened her.
Right.
That frightened her. She said, oh, the plane's on fire. Why would there be flames coming out of the wings?
You ever seen flames come out of a car? It's exhaust. It's exhaust that didn't get burned, that just slipped through. There's so much heat.
But it
coming
was
from...
real fire.
Yes.
And here's my mother. My mother's never been in the air before.
What was it, a DC-3, do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember.
No, it had... They made jets
Does
back then.
DC-7 sound right?
Maybe.
Yeah. There was
DC-7, because I remember when I went to Europe, to Rome with Jay, it was 7 hours on a 747, going 700 hours an hour, 700 miles an hour, and we landed at Leonardo da Vinci, and the hotel wasn't ready, so we got a tour. 7 hours it took us to go from New York to Rome, and that was to a fire rally. That was the second time, because Daisy Mae and I went to Rome.
Tell us just a little bit about what you were telling Jay about spending time in Grandpa Dwyer's lap.
Oh, you mean like I would comb his hair and part it, and I'd comb his mustache. And you know, I remember squeezing blackheads in the back of his ears. I do. I pressed.
Speaking
and
of which...
the cream cheese would come out. And I said to him, you wash your ears, you know, wash. Wash.
Wash your ears.
And that was Papa's father.
Yeah. Daddy, right behind you, come out here. He'd be in the bathroom. Daddy, right behind you, come out here. And my mother said I used to put my hands on my hips. Well, Kevin knows that story, right?
Yeah.
Tell the story about seeing Papa in the bathroom.
Well, that's the story. Kevin has heard it, right?
Tell me again.
Okay, so I'm like, 3 or 4 years old, and I'm pretty aggressive. I usually get what I want. First grandchild, they wanted a boy, they got me. So they loved me anyway. They wanted a boy to carry the Meyer name. Okay, so I'm 3 or 4, and the bathroom door at Dewey Street must have been open, and I had a peek. And I went to my mother and I said, what's that thing hanging down in front of Daddy? And my mother said she got so hysterical. What's that thing hanging down in front of Daddy? And she said, oh, I didn't see anything. What did it look like? And I said, macaroni. Must have been elbow. That's the kind of a kid I was.
That's funny.
And then if my mother was ironing, all the aunts give me dresses. Easter, orchid dresses. Aunt Mary, Aunt Johanna. Who was the other one? Not Aunt Lena, but I'd get a bunch of dresses.
Aunt Margaret?
Maybe, yeah, probably. No, she was in California.
Oh.
Anyway, my mother'd be ironing, and I'd go or say, I want that one on. And she'd say, no, you're not going to have this one on. I want to be nice. And I was chubby.
You said
I was a chubby little kid. You know, I was.
Yeah.
Until I grew up and swinging in trees, I got taller. My best was like 5'6½". I want to be nice. Advance. I had this German accent, and my mother was hoping it would go away before I went to first grade with Miss Knox, but it didn't. I want. Wipe your hiney. Yeah, I remember vividly first grade. I also remember bringing that old Tom's Cabin book, original publication. I could have been on Antiques Roadshow with that.
Wow, that's
And
right.
And the teacher read it, lent it to somebody, never got it
What's
back.
the teacher's name again? You remember
Miss
her name?
Knox,
Miss Knox.
second grade, Miss
The
Malia,
teacher,
Miss Deegan. I remember eighth grade, all of them. Miss Klug was a farmer. Big woman, big boobs. Never married, lived on a farm. Miss Klug, 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 K.
Where did you go to school? In Torrington?
Midgeon Avenue, Midgeon Avenue through the eighth grade. There was no kindergarten in those days, and then to Torrington High School.
How far was Midgeon Avenue from Dewey Street?
Oh, very easily to walk. You'd walk up and go by the Jewish drugstore, and you'd be there. And Grandpa Dwyer, he was really like 6'7". He was a fisherman. Oh, was he a fisherman? And he hung out at the gas station, Ray Perigo. And every year, Ray Perigo would go fishing in Canada. And they took Grandpa Dwyer with them for like a week in Canada. And that was the joy of his life, that fishing trip. He was a walker. And instead of getting in the car to go to, we had a cottage at Tyler Lake. I had a boat. It was called the Pond Lily. And it was square. The Pond Lily. And it had this, the paddles, you know. And then there was a lady something of the people next door. And that's when I learned to row.
right.
I remember I was in the sun in back of our cottage. A very rich lady, Hazel Gifford, had this cottage at Tyler Lake, and she liked my father, just liked him, and let us go and spend the summer at the cottage. It had a dock, it had a big boat, and it had this little square boat, the Pond Lily. And she had a son my age. They lived in Goshen. They lived in a mansion with the white pillars. And the son's name was Bunny. And Hazel Gifford said, why don't you let Betty come and spend the weekend with Bunny? They had a tennis court in the backyard. And the husband was a New Yorker. He got on the train and went to New York, or sometime he'd only come home weekends. And Hazel Gifford was a customer of Papa's. First it was Meyer and Minetti, this Italian fellow, and my father bought the grocery store, Meyer and Minetti. And then my father bought out Mr. Minetti, and he owned it.
Where was that Meyer Minetti located again?
It was on Water Street in Torrington.
Okay.
Here was the store, and then you hit Midgeon Avenue, the school and all. And then I went to Torrington High School, and that was a walk. I don't know, at least a mile.
Speaking of walking,
And you know, my father said I couldn't wear lipstick. And my mother said, you know, you're too young. Freshman in high school. I told you that story too. The girls were wearing bras and I didn't have anything. And here I see Riley wearing a bra, you know, on the bed one day.
Training bra.
Yeah. Hormones, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I had lipstick on and I was walking to Torrington High School with Gloria Glace. I had lipstick on and Papa came up and saw me on the sidewalk. And he hollered at my mother. And she probably said, well, I didn't know that she was wearing lipstick.
tell me about the Galaces. Aren't we related to Roxy Galace? Or
Not
what's the
related.
connection?
They were neighbors. Right next door to 58 Dewey Street, 4 children. Art was the father. Roxy was the mother. 4 children. Art was the oldest. Gloria was my age. She was born on the 4th of July. The last name was Galaise. Galaise. And this past Christmas, I get a Christmas card every year from Beatrice. It was Art, it was Gloria, it was Richard, we called him Dick, and Beatrice. Beatrice is the one I hear from. Beatrice has like 19 grandchildren and some great-grandchildren.
Wow.
Well, they were a lovely family who lived next door, and they never went to church. Never went to church, and the father used to be Catholic. And Roxy Gallais said one day, Gloria would like to go to church with Betty. Is that all right? And my mother said, oh, of course it's all right. And she was a good friend, but not really, really good, you know. And I liked her, but I had other friends that I had made through grammar school and high school. And eventually, Gloria made her first communion. And you know what happened that day? In the Catholic school, St. Francis, they covered the water fountains in the halls, covered them with a towel. First communion day, we were told, we couldn't have anything, fasting. Young people, not even water. And you know what? Gloria uncovered the fountain and took water, and they didn't let her make her first communion.
What?
That was
terrible.
the end of religion for the Galaises.
That was
Oh,
terrible.
Roxy cried. You know, they said, no, you took water. You uncovered the fountain. I mean, just think of the cruelty of doing that to a child. I don't know how old I was, 7 or 8. How's that for a story?
Wow.
Wow.
You know, tell the story about Mama meeting somebody on the train and convinced the woman.
Oh,
So-
she's coming down to Vero Beach to live, vacation, because her daughter.
Yeah, who was that?
Oh,
Think of the lady's name.
yeah. I
Because
can't.
Mama talked to her that she,
Yeah, she sat with my mother on the train.
Yeah, what was
When
her
my
name?
mother visited, my mother was coming down to meet the new handsome Catholic man in my life. Mama would never fly alone. Oh, I can't, off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I'm a
because
little
didn't she
fuzzy.
save her life or something?
Oh, yeah, she made her go back and go to the wedding.
So the woman that Mama met was.
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Well, what was she doing? She was the woman.
She was
that,
getting away because her daughter was getting married in Connecticut in a little town, I don't know, something like Bristol, like that. And she sat in the same seat as my mother. And my mother convinced her, you go back and
So-
you go
so
to
the-
your daughter's wedding. You know, I can't remember, but her name is in one of my address books. So how about that?
Yeah, didn't you
That,
say?
that was a real true story.
Yeah, that
My
Mama's-
mother talked to her, how could you do something so cruel? Her only daughter. She made her get back.
And she didn't want her to get married.
She didn't want to go to the wedding.
Why?
She didn't approve
She
of
didn't
him.
approve of the wedding for
She
whatever
didn't
reason.
approve of the husband. She didn't approve of who the daughter was marrying. And I think it was because he was Protestant. I don't remember. Oh, I'll come up with that name. And became good friends. Used to visit Mom and Papa in
Wow.
Roseland. I've got that information.
And
in-
wasn't the story that the daughter was going to kill herself or something? And because the mother turned around? I thought I heard. Maybe that's not.
No,
We'll think about it later.
I'll come up with her name, though. I'll go through the alphabet and I'll come up with her name. And she had a boyfriend, and they weren't married. She was divorced and had this girl, and just because she had a Polish background, I remember that. Oh my. I'm getting a little fuzzy.
Well, it is kind of late.
Well, you know a lot of these stories because you're asking me to repeat some, right?
Yeah, well, it's just interesting because you haven't told them to us in a while.
Oh,
So it's very. You have a very fascinating life, Mom.
yes,
like you
I
said.
think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've done a lot. You know, you've experienced a lot.
Well, I would say so.
And God's been with you. I mean, it's.
Right. And I would say what's her name? Decker. Rosalie Decker was shocked that I went to Europe, you know. And she said to me, well, you took risks when you were growing up. And I never thought of it that way. I said, well, I guess so.
Is that what makes me such a daredevil?
But education was always so important. And in this building, there's a lot of very well-educated people.
Mhm,
And they come from all over the United States.
mhm.
Well, Jerry's Chicago. There are people from California here, people that I knew when I used to come here. Yeah, I used to walk.
Probably about a dozen people, right?
What?
Who live here, who you knew from back.
Oh, close.
Right.
I would say maybe 10 or 12.
Do they remember you?
Yes.
That's good.
Ann Janelli. I was sitting next to Guthrie, Jane Guthrie, and she told me, this year is better than that one, the 102-year-old lady.
Right.
And here, Anna Janelli came with her walker, and she's the lady who made this. She has arthritis of her hands. She has a beautiful apartment on the first floor, third door.
Mm-hmm.
She made this, and every day, she must have knit 20 shawls. Oh, you got one for the back of your sofa. What do you call them? And this is just like a shawl. Blankets like.
Yeah.
Lap.
Pullover or a cover?
I'm thinking of Elise right now.
What should she
I'm
meet her?
knitting right now.
I'm knitting.
But every single day in the afternoon and sometimes in the morning, Anna Janelli, because of her hands.
Yeah.
And I got this. Are you the one that gave me the box of knitting to give her? Where did I get that? Somebody in Meyer Lee had
To give to Anna Janelli?
Yeah, had a lot of yarn.
Now, does Anna Janelli have a relative living here?
No, I don't think
Oh,
so.
I thought I saw a last name Janelli.
No, well, she lives on the first floor, right
over,
around the
over
corner.
by Carol Laurie.
No, the other side.
Oh, the other
There's
side?
the desk. You can go that way.
Oh, okay.
And of course, every day in a book on the counter, they have going to Publix today,
Right.
or you probably saw that.
Right.
And I'll be doing that eventually.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'll be buying a lot of stuff. You know, I'll go for the ride and for little things I might need.
Yeah, and
That's gonna
and
come.
Mom, that's why we're here. You know, you certainly can ask us for anything. You're not a burden. you
And
know?
I'm going to go on the bus.
Yeah.
I
Well,
used to wait for the bus.
Well, the
Now I'm going to be on the bus.
there you go. And also,
Thank God it's not the short bus.
let's tell Kevin the story how the other night, it was about the fourth night I was here, and remember it was in the morning and I crawled into bed with you and I was scratching your back, and Mom goes, I just don't know what to tell people. I don't know how to explain people what's happened over the past 3 weeks. And I go, Mom, tell them you tripped over a towel rack so you decided to move.
That I've used that. I put that in Louise's letter. I got 2 mail from her today. I got this and a postcard.
Oh, let me see.
Oh, it's funny. It's kind of long.
Yeah.
If you got time, you can read it about peas.
I'm going to read it out loud.
Yeah, go ahead. It's really.
Welcome to your new home. Dear Betty, I'm happy you are comfortably settled in your new home. Many years ago, we knew a missionary couple had been working in Japan, I think, who lived there and loved the people. Of course, the fact that you volunteered there, you already knew it was a great place to live. Now is the time for you to plant a garden. First, 5 rows of peas. Preparedness, promptness, perseverance, politeness, and prayer. You probably have all these already growing. Next, 3 rows of squash. Squash gossip, squash criticism, and squash indifference. Then 5 rows of lettuce. Let us be loyal, let us be beautiful, let us be faithful, let us be unselfish, let us be thankful, and let us love one another. And no garden would be complete without turnips. Turnip with a smile, turnip with a new idea, turnip with some real determination to help. All this sounds like you, your lifestyle, your philosophy, exclamation point. Thought you'd enjoy reading it, maybe even pass this along. Love to you, Louise.
Wow.
Isn't she a doll?
When you see her, you tell her that you read it to Kevin and that I received it.
Louise is a tremendous individual.
Oh, I
Just
know.
such a good
I'm
friend
so
of mine.
glad she's in your life.
Yeah, me too.
Well, now, are you even thinking about it because it's almost 11?
Yeah, I'm gonna head out. Kevin's gonna stay with
11:21.
you. Okay.
Mom, we love you.
Hey, guess what, Mom? I don't have to be at work till 1 o'clock, and he doesn't have to be at work at all.
What's this 8:30 bit? What's going on at 8:30?
We're
I'm
going.
picking Kevin up at 8:30, and we're going over to your condo to do a little bit of work
Oh,
over there.
that makes me happier. I thought
Yeah.
you're both working all day.
And I'm
till
gonna get
No.
your mail.
noon.
I'm gonna get your mail.
Well, guess what? When I went to dinner, the one at the desk, David at the time, gave me these two things, and they're both from Louise. You please remember to thank her, okay?
Yeah, how do I turn this light on? I want to test it. Close your eyes a little bit.
It's right over there.
Close your eyes. I just wanted to
I
see.
don't like the fan, really.
I wanted to see
What
what
do
the
you mean you
lights.
don't like the
Yeah.
fan,
Go ahead and
Mom?
shut it off.
No, you don't have to.
No,
Leave,
turn the
you
light in the
can
middle
leave
one.
it for
Turn the middle one off.
circulation.
There you go.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
but she just said she didn't like the fan.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's blowing up.
Well,
not-
yeah, turn it back on. Because I don't like it, you don't have to change it. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay. Lights out.
All right.
Time
Lights
to-
out. All right.
All I have to do
Well,
is
we
brush,
love you. I'm gonna leave Kevin here.
brush my teeth.
Kissy, kissy to the mother.
Kiss a kiss.
Okay, and you have your pendant on, right?
Oh, you know that's the first thing that Tina looked at. She sat on that stool, and she kind of said, like, how's it going? And I said, beautiful. I'm very happy here.